So here are the ingredients that I'm going to be using: eggs, walnuts, puff pastries dough, brie cheese, raspberry jam, and butter. So first, go ahead and just add the butter and allow that to melt in the pan. Then after you melt the butter inside the pan, you can add the walnuts. You can use walnuts or pecans depending on whatever you prefer. So after you add your walnuts or pecans, you go ahead and let them saute for a while. It should usually take 5 minutes, of course, depending on how hot you have the pan and whatnot. So you just stir that around and make sure the walnuts capture the butter. Some people like to add cinnamon or perhaps honey. Of course, like I said, that's a personal preference. I just left it as butter to saute with the walnuts. So after, you're gonna go ahead and crack open 2 eggs and whisk them together until they're liquidy and yellow. So after the eggs are whisked together, what you can do is lay out your pastry dough and place the brie cheese on top of the pastry dough, more like in the center. And you get a tablespoon of raspberry jam and spread it on top of the brie cheese and just like fill up the top layer. You can use different kinds of jams, obviously. It doesn't have to be raspberry jam. After you spread the jam, you can go ahead and add your walnuts on top of the jam and just go ahead and just kind of pack it on top of the brie cheese all together. Should be making like a little mountain almost. So after you get most of your walnuts on there, I know it's kind of hard since it's such a small section and it is a lot of walnuts. You go ahead and grab all the edges of the pastry dough and bring them together on top of the brie cheese, almost making like a small sack. And after you make a small sack, you hold it together with a piece of string. You don't have to tie it too tightly. It doesn't have to be tight, but you also want to make it loose enough to the point where you can go ahead and take it out after it's done baking. So you just flatten the top and just flatten the sides and just contain it and press it together so it stays intact. So after, you go ahead and grab a brush or whatever you prefer to use and you put egg all over the dough. This will help the dough brown and crisp. And you go ahead and place that all over. I I put on a lot. It depends on how much you want. I prefer to put on a lot of the egg. Then you set your timer to 25 minutes and the oven should be at 375 degrees. So after, it should be looking like that. And I personally added a little bit of honey over it. You don't have to. I just did just to add a little more sweetness to it. And thank you for watching.